are tuning in from. This is the Awesome Journey, and I am your host, Kelle Steinicke, along with my co-host in care, Christy Howard. And we're just two girls that connected on LinkedIn 15 years ago, live on opposite sides of the country, have giving hearts, a passion for paying it forward, and I may have prayed to be living louder in my purpose. And now here we sit in front of microphones, bringing you the Awesome Journey. And today, the awesome journey that we are bringing you is a repeat guest, which we're so blessed to have back with us, Mr. Eugene Berezin, who is a career and business coach, and just has an incredible journey of his own. What led him to do what he is so passionate about, helping others in their careers, which seems to be a topic that many can associate to currently. If you're still looking for work, you definitely are going to have some takeaways from here. If you're trying something new for this year, you need to update your LinkedIn profile, get your resume reviewed. Christy Howard is your girl. Just a little reminder. But we're going to go through Eugene's journey because it is an incredible one to what brought him here. And then we will talk about his career journey as well. So we can enjoy the time with Eugene today as much as possible. I will first turn it over to my co-host in here, Christy Howard.
Hello. I love Eugene. I love your story. I mean, you're so authentic, and I'm all about being authentic. Oh, look.
Look at you, man. I want that.
I know. Check that shit. Anyway, I'm not going to babble because that's what I do, and it's just been one of those days. I'm going to throw it over to Eugene. We're going to talk about, it's your platform. You start where you want to start, and you know that I will interrupt because that's what I do. And then Kelle will shut me up.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much, y'all, for having me again on the platform. It's such an honor. And I think as we were talking about, I want you to share your story, but I think when we really reconnect internally with our stories and who we are and like how we get here, it's way more valuable than when we're trying to memorize our perfect pitch for our business or perfect pitch for our interview answers, because people don't hire your technical skills, people don't buy your program, people don't buy your business, people buy you.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And when you deliver your story, when you deliver your like who you really are, then you start connecting with people, because like hiring is hiring is sales basically, and people buy emotionally and then they justify it logically. So as I am telling to my clients, you gotta connect with people emotionally. They're gonna hire you emotionally, and they're gonna justify it like logically. Well, it's a little bit more than that, but yeah, like my story. Where should I start? Like, where should I
Start from where you were born.
Yeah.
Okay. So I was born in Moscow, Russia.
Which I had caviar.
Uh-huh.
I love caviar, but I love Russian caviar. Didn't have that though. But anyway.
I think that's the first time I ever had it was when I was it was the Soviet Union when I visited, but
yeah.
Anyways.
We don't get to have Russian caviar in the United States. But anyway, go on.
Yeah, I was born in Moscow, Russia, and it was a very interesting time when I was born. So when I was born in 1985, and it was right when the Soviet Union collapsed, probably like a few years before. And it was a weird time because I remember sitting on my bed in my bedroom. I was a little boy, and that change, like we all felt that change. It's like the whole country immigrated to a different culture, to a different society, because from where everything was closed off and prohibited and not talk about like religion, businesses, stuff like that. But after, like overnight, everything boomed and everything changed, and I felt it in my bones. So grew up in Moscow, Russia, and kind of it was really interesting because when I'm looking at my story, like who I am today, I wasn't seeing myself here and now like back then, because like going back to even like my high school years, or like elementary high school years, I had trouble. I had trouble with like certain disciplines, like
Mm.
certain like subjects. And at that time I felt like, oh, I'm not good at math, I'm not good at this, I'm not good at that. But and some of my teachers said like, hey, you know what, like probably university, higher education is not your path. So like you probably should go and get associate degree, or like just go straight to work. But I said hell to the no, and I decided to actually go for higher education. And
Great.
my first try was actually at a nursing school, and it was an associate degree. And I said, like, you know what, I don't want to be a nurse, because nurse in Russia and nurse in the United States are two different things. And at a time I didn't see the opportunity for me there. It's not like I didn't like the people. I love medicine. I think medicine is my hobby. So, but I decided to go for clinical psychology because I
Oh,
already
there's
was,
a transition.
yeah, I did like, because I was already working with people, right? Like my very very first job was a sign language interpreter,
See, I think that's so cool.
Yeah, me too.
and I was thinking about, okay, like and mind you, like I'm 18 years old, and I'm thinking like how I leverage what I have right now, because it just doesn't make sense to go for something that like I'm completely new at. And like I don't want to build my experience, 18 years old, right, thinking about like, well, I already have experience, like I don't want to start all over, um
Right.
and after that, I decided to go for clinical psychology, because like special education, clinical psychology, everything aligned. And I was fortunate enough. So like when I applied for my degree, or when I was trying to get into college, I was rejected from one of them, and I decided to go to a program that still higher education, still clinical psychology, but their approach is much more practical. So you go in, you get everything that you need for that like 6 months, then you come back, and then they're gonna test you for what you learn, and then they're gonna give you another like batch of information for another 6 months, and in
Mm.
between you go and implement and you go and practice. So and I was smart enough to actually get a job at my faculty at my university. I'm like, you know what, since I'm like I have to utilize this time to work, and I got a job as a sign language interpreter like at my faculty. And my goal was, I'm just gonna follow my professors, like every single year that they're like teaching. So basically, in a year, I was able to go with my professors from like first year to the final year, and it
So I
was
have a question.
yeah.
Are you still good at your sign language?
Yes, I'm very connected with the deaf community. I know
Oh,
two sign languages, American Sign Language and Russian Sign Language, because
Oh, very cool.
each culture has different sign languages.
So next time we have a deaf person on, we know who to get for
no, we're gonna call
interpreter.
you.
That would be fun. Like I actually started a sign language channel, but like because we only have 24 hours a day, so it
Mhm.
kind of didn't go too far. But like it's something to like, it's something that I have, something that is available to people. But
That's
um after I graduated, right? After I graduated college, I was really thinking, what am I doing next? Because I never had a traditional pathway where you go to college, you have your fun in college, and then you get like an intern or like a junior position. Like no, I always in school I was working under supervision of my professor, so I was doing therapy and we were working really closely together. And when I graduated, I was pretty much mid-level, like um not like very very close to senior like professional. And the only reason they wouldn't give me a senior role because, like, Eugene, let's be honest, you just graduated, it's just not fair. So like, we know that you were working under other people's supervision, but like give it a few years and like then you can get there. But
Right.
at a time I was thinking like what is next for me, because I didn't want to live where I live at a time. And I I really manifested myself like right here where I'm right now, like in the US or in Canada or Australia, those like three countries that I was considering, maybe New Zealand. Um so and I was like I switched my focus because like the next chapter for me would be like go after my doctorate and complete my doctorate degree, and then see what's going to happen. But I had to make a decision, and I made a decision to actually move. And um it was a very interesting journey. So um when I moved to the US, everything just aligned so perfectly. And again, it's about not being controlled by circumstances. It's about not being controlled by the money, because when people think about big decisions, people think, can I afford it? Uh,
Mhm.
when I was thinking about my big decisions, I was thinking, I want it. Period. Can I afford it?
It doesn't
It's not
matter.
the question.
Make it
Yeah, it doesn't matter. Yeah. So I was
happen.
there and like literally like surrendering and stepping into unknown. And when I moved here, I was able to find a like immigration lawyer that was absolutely wonderful. And more importantly, again, it's about taking intuitive action and actually acting on your dream. And when we had to have my immigration interview, my lawyer said, like, Eugene, actually, like, you presented yourself so well. Like, I never had the case that you presented before. So I was absolutely and entirely speechless. I didn't even know what to say. And so, like, well, should I be an immigration lawyer then? Should I do your job? So and like it, uh, again, like that was it, it was a truly a miracle for me, because um by the books, it's insane, right? Move to another country with like $1,500 like in your bank account, and no rent, like no job, no work authorization, nothing. And like making a decision like, yeah, I'm going to stay here. But when you follow your dream, when you surrender, and when you trust universe, when you trust God,
Mm,
um, everything falls into place. I found my roommates, wonderful roommates. Then like later on, like I found my first job, and then I was able to re-enter behavioral health services, and I was working as a case manager alongside with other clinicians, alongside with doctors, and helping people navigate healthcare. So and yeah, and then I transitioned after like into tech, because I would that chapter for me was close, because like okay, right now I'm done proving myself that I can be like I can be me in the new reality, in the new country. And at that time I'm like, okay, like right now I need to build my wealth, and or at least I need to live comfortably so I can support my family, I can support myself, and I don't have to make tough financial decisions and sacrifice my safety because I couldn't afford a place anywhere else or sacrifice my convenience, not necessarily convenience, but like accessibility to the like the basic stuff that I need, like in terms of like where I live and where I reside. So I decided to enter tech, and uh, in tech, like started as a QA engineer, then transitioned into iOS development, got a senior role, and then in the year of 2023, I got laid off twice, started my own business, and helped other people, tech professionals, software developers, bounce back from the layoff, claim their authority in their field that they already have, because so many software developers, they don't realize that they actually have the authority, and but like they are subject matter experts. And it's all it's the better how you position yourself and how you show it off to other people. So,
Yeah.
and like after that, like started like my pilot program for new entrepreneurs, so to help them to do what I do, because like we all know, like right now, like corporate America, it is not the most secure path. It's not as
Can
secure
we
as it
just say
used
it
to.
sucks?
Yes, we
Yes,
can.
yes, you can.
Absolutely. Yes,
It does.
absolutely.
And here's something I'd like for you to maybe expand upon a little bit, because I think a lot of people, and I've heard a lot of people talking about this over the last few months also, is being laid off, and then they're trying to get hired, and then people are saying, well, start your own career path, like you create what it is that you want to do. What did that look like for you, and what was it that made you decide, I'm going to go into business for myself? Because forget this, like I'm same. I always refer to myself as an accidental consultant,
Mhm.
because I didn't plan on getting booted, not being able to get hired anywhere. But you've got to do what you've got to do. And for some people that just sounds scary. But my feeling is just sort of like, if you're going to continue looking for a job, why not start creating something? So what did that look like for you?
So for me, it looked like I was building my foundation before I got laid off, because I talked to a lot of people, and more.
Did you know you were building it? Were you subconsciously doing it, or were you consciously
I
building it?
was consciously doing it.
Okay.
Like, no,
Okay.
like I'm going to like 2023. I'm starting my own coaching business. Like,
Yeah,
I
for
don't know when
me,
it's.
it was subconscious that, and then God just sort of said, "This is what you got to do."
Yeah.
Yeah, well, like for me, it was very conscious, but it was more so when we start our own businesses, we have entrepreneurial amnesia, and what it means,
I love
we don't
that.
know what we don't know. We forget what we know and
Exactly.
who the heck we are. I'm sorry, I don't know
Yeah,
if I'm allowed to curse here.
100%.
So, and it was like it took some time, like to really like, hey, like really this like life coaching that nobody knows what it is, that you don't even can explain what it is. Like, so you
Mhm.
talk to people so you can talk to your friends, but what you can actually deliver. And it kind of put it back to my abilities to coach people and to coach people, like to market themselves, right?
Yeah.
So, and before I got laid off, I started landing clients. And when I got laid off, it was more so because here's the thing, like every single business client that I have, I teach them, get a job, like have a job, don't quit your job. If you can get a job, like if you get laid off, like as we're in the program, if you can, get a job, then keep that job until you match your business income with your corporate income, and then exit corporate. And
Yeah.
then you will rather you have a decision to make. Do you want to have your business as a side hustle, or do you want to and turn into like full-time business and grow exponentially? So, but my reality was not that, because like I was on that path, and at a time I'm like, okay, right now I have a choice to look for a job or keep making money, and I have bills to pay. I do what I truly love. I do what other people truly loves, because like you're not making money by do what you love. You're making money by doing what other people love. So I was making money with my business, and I decided just to focus on my business because it was so in alignment. And it wasn't really, I couldn't really bet on myself 100% after the first time I got laid off. I got a job, and then after a couple of months later, my contract ended. They
Mhm.
decided to terminate the contract, and after that, I said, like, you know what, no more. Like I like if I get an opportunity, that's great. But like, I'm not going online and say, hey, I'm looking for a new
Well, plus it
opportunity.
screws with your mental health.
It
Because
does.
we're
100%.
like, you know something, what? I'm going to give you my business because we're all business. I'm going to give you my business while you utilize me, and then you're going to kick me to the curb. No, I think I'm going to start my own business and then
Yeah.
kick you guys to
Yeah.
the curb.
And even working on contract, and I had a client that was this way, is because of 2020, they had to let go all their employees, and then they started slowly hiring 1099s, so all contract work. But that relationship is so different from an employee, and they were treating their contract workers like employees. And it's like, you can't do that. You can't
You
tell
mean
me.
like shit? Oh, I'm sorry again.
Yeah, yes, exactly like that. And I think that that's a hard transition for a lot of people. And in seeing people, and I just had a conversation last week with a designer that I work with, and saying about, like, you need to charge more. Like, you're not charging enough. There is a perceived value sometimes, and I think when we're in a space of being unsure, not just about ourselves, but like, this is a new space of doing my own business, maybe I want to charge a little bit lower so I can get the client. But a lot of times the client will be like, ooh, I think I might need someone else, because certain organizations, some of the clients that I work with, they're in financial services. They're very financially stable. I don't I don't balk at giving my premium charge, because y'all I know can afford to hire me
Mhm.
for one, but two, that's what they need. If you've got an expertise in something, um, own it. But I think,
Mhm.
and Chris, you talk about this a lot too. So I'd be interested in what you have to say about this as well, Eugene, is about the imposter syndrome. Because the longer that people, I think, are out of work, the self-doubt starts coming in and getting loud.
And that's sort of where I work with people, because it's sort of, don't allow another company to tell you that you're worthless. Look at your resume. Look what you've done.
Yes.
Own it. Be it. And the problem is and we look at all the layoffs that happened last year, and they're happening still.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of these people worked for the same company for 30 years. Because that's how it used to be. My dad worked for DuPont for 36 years. My mother's like, I don't understand why you used to move and jump and jump and jump. I'm like, because that's what you
That's what
do. I
you
mean, I moved. I wasn't married. So New York, Chicago, California, who wouldn't want to move this? Well, I wouldn't move there now. But anyway,
do.
it's understanding your worth. And with society, we were not brought up to embrace our worth. We were looking outside of ourselves for everybody saying, yes, you're great. And so it's us saying, yes, we're great. So being an
Yeah.
entrepreneur, you have to jump off that cliff or skydive or whatever and just say, fuck it. I'm
Mhm.
good and I'm going to do good. And
Mhm.
believe in yourself, because like the three of us, we have that confidence. Now, Eugene got a lot younger than we did, Kelly. But we're from a different generation that didn't really allow us to have it. But to also understand that there's, you have, like with Eugene, with his entrepreneur, coaching them with your background. And I'm sorry, do you have any room in that head with everything that you've done in your life, in the young life that you had? I mean, all the levels, which is fabulous. And that's a
Yeah.
compliment.
So
But it
cool.
just, for you to be able to look outside of the box and be able to say, hey, believe in yourself, and this is how you can do it.
Mhm.
I
Yeah.
mean, I don't work with entrepreneurs, so go to Eugene. Um, But those that are just saying, I want to, this is my passion. I want to do this. I want to create this. I want to create this business. How do I go about doing it?
Yeah, and I
I'm a
forgot to ask.
cheerleader as a coach, and coaches are fabulous.
Yes.
But people tend to forget, to be good, to be successful, you have to invest.
Yes.
It's just not going to happen one morning that you're going to wake up and go, I'm the bomb.
Right.
It's not
Everything's
gonna knock on my door.
I mean, I started my business. I mean, I've been doing my business since 2008, but I started this business full time, starting last December. And it's now, I mean, at the end of the year, it started, I started seeing, it's like, okay, it's working. Because we still have our self-doubts going, should I go look for another job? No. Well, first of all, I don't think anybody will hire me because my mouth has gotten so loud on LinkedIn.
I think that's fabulous. And it's hard to go back now. I mean, my thing is too, is like, I like the flexibility for one, and two, I really like having the ability to choose who I work with.
Yes.
Because I'm like, I have worked with enough assholes in my life that I choose not to do it anymore. I want to have, alignment morally and ethically. Like, that doesn't seem like a whole lot to ask for. But I just don't want to work with people that I have to worry about what are they doing, and knowing what they're doing and being like, I don't want to be around you. You're just not a good human. And I want to be around good people. And I think that is also the beauty too of how LinkedIn is allows us to help each other in such a different way, right? Because I think the networking has changed, I believe, immensely since 2020, and specifically the last year or two, that I think people are so willing to help one another. Hey, just reach out and ask somebody. Like, seriously. And I forgot to ask you before we came on, Eugene. I know that you do consultations with people. Can you share a little bit about that?
Yeah. Well, when we talk about consultations, right? Like consultations, it's more about like I'm helping you to diagnose your situation, like regard like career situation, business situation, and I'm helping you to make a decision, because a lot of people have this false narrative that I just need to have a one-on-one consultation with a coach, with a therapist, with whoever, and I'm gonna I'm gonna figure it out.
Yeah, and then
But
everything's fabulous.
and everything fabulous. Like, but it's not working like that.
Right.
Like listen, we can do VIP day, but you don't want to do VIP day with me, because like you're gonna pay a lot more. But also sometimes you need to be in the room, in the community, in the space where you are guided, and when you are assured, and when you when you have a real-time feedback, when you do something with your career or with your business, and somebody else say, hey, like, don't do it no more, like, do this instead, or simply ask you questions, like when you making a move, and instead of giving you an answer, you get the right question, then you figure out yourself. Because but the problem is, no, people don't question their decisions, and there's nobody around them to ask them the right questions.
Well, and also a lot of people you have surrounding you are telling you what they think you want to hear over just answering the question.
Yeah.
And I'm from the school of, you ask me a question, you're going to have to accept that answer.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, and you might not like it, but it's going to make you think.
Mm-hmm.
Because there was a reason why you asked the question. So,
yeah, but I think that's the whole point, right? I think people who surround themselves with yes people, or tell them that they want to hear, they really don't want to grow.
Right.
And because you need the people that tell you the stuff that you don't necessarily, I don't want to say don't want to hear, but maybe, ooh, that stung a little bit, but it's going to make you better. I mean, those to me are the relationships that you should value. Just my opinion.
Yeah. 100%. 100%.
I mean, it goes back to that post I did a few days ago that, that when you hit a wall, what was it? I tagged you on it. When you hit a wall and your friend says, you're like, why am I hitting a wall? And your friend says, because the wall needed you to stop and
Oh, yeah.
think.
Yeah. That was a really good one.
Yeah, I mean, that's not the correct quote, but you get the gist of it.
Yeah.
My maintenance guy's here. I'll be back, guys.
No worries. So Eugene, and now that we're hitting into 2024, which I don't know about you, but I still can't believe it. It's like I feel like 2023, the last half, specifically the last quarter, I feel like it was over in a blink of an eye. Like it just seemed super speed. Um, but going into 2024, what are you looking to do, and what are your goals that you're looking for?
So my goals for 2024, definitely keep helping software developers to be in tech, because I think the job market is it's not one that we have scarcity of tech jobs. Is we have a lot more people available now, and now you need to market yourself. And sitting
Yeah,
here like just sending your resume, just applying, it's not going to work anymore. And people who are not developing their people skills, soft skills, leadership skills, not invest in self-development, they're like
yeah,
many of them ending up out of tech, and it's sad, and I don't want that to happen. So that's why that program for sure stays. And also, I'm slowly going public with my pilot program for coaches, entrepreneurs, freelancers, consultants, how to
mhm,
land their high ticket business. And because in 2023, at the end of 2023, I started working with a business client, and he just landed a client, so at higher price point. And that was like, see, like God was nudging me that like, hey, you should really start talking about it, because so many people need your services, and there are like not enough coaches who can actually help people with that journey. And I was bargaining with God, and I said, well, until my client doesn't get a result, I'm not going public nowhere. And like literally yesterday, we had a call. Oh, like, I have my first client. Like, well, I have no, like, I promised, so I guess I'm going public now. So like pilot, yeah, and really we're gonna start as 101 coaching, and then probably depends how it goes. Probably in the mid-year or at the end of the year is going to transition into just second group coaching program, and like with the curriculum and everything,
nice.
just as similar to my career coaching program for software developers. So like we're gonna have the same thing, like hopefully at the end of the year for coaches, entrepreneurs, and consultants.
I got a quick question in between
Yeah.
me logging off and logging back on. And I got to say, you love having when a maintenance comes in between 1 and 4
Yeah.
and they show
Like,
up the one
call me
time
when
you're like,
you're
don't show up. How do you get your clients? Is it off of LinkedIn? I mean, is it word of mouth?
Yeah, and it is also the LinkedIn, and the if I go technical, I use organic attraction marketing. So you use your content to attract your clients, and you
yeah,
speak at the level of awareness that your audience is at, and you guide clients, you guide people through your content, and also you implement like the social selling technique. And when I say social selling, it's really about building genuine relationships with people and start genuine conversations,
yeah,
like without trying to sell them anything, without pushing, without like forcing. It's just like, hey, like, what are your goals? Like, this is what I do, like this is what I've done, and this is how it worked out for me and for my clients. Do you want to come to my networking event and see if you like the community? 100% free. So, and we're gonna mingle or come to my live stream. Like,
Well,
okay,
and
what?
also you're introducing yourself, and with LinkedIn Live, well, we have 9 billion people on LinkedIn, or
Yeah.
on LinkedIn. Yeah, people don't know. How I do. I work with a lot of executive assistants because that's my passion. Because
Hmm.
EAs tend to stay in toxic and they don't think that they have the worth. And they do. They have more power than they imagine. So I work, I have I have 2 Facebook books, groups, and then I work in other groups on LinkedIn. And my whole thing is, it's a conversation. You might not realize what you have inside you. Yeah. And then when you say, oh, wow, and you get excited going, wow, this I do. Then you turn around and person's like, hey, I want to invest in you. I want you to make me grow. And that's what a coach is. Jim Harbaugh showed it last night. Thank you. Michigan won. But sorry, you're in Seattle. But I mean, having a coach is an investment in you.
Yes.
Just like going to a therapist, you're investing in you.
Yes.
But I like that, or you and I are on the same line because we're both very authentic, transparent, and very organic. I'm all about being organic.
Yeah.
I get these emails, people, I can do lead generation and I'm like,
stop it.
I'm good. Yeah, good. I'm doing mine. I'm good. I don't need anybody else's help.
Stop. And what's interesting is I've had people over the years too say like, well, if you're a coach, do you have a coach? Yes.
Yes.
Yes. It's just like anything. I think it's so important. And I don't know why some people are still like, oh, I don't need a coach. I can figure it out myself. It's not about whether or not you can figure it out. It's just sometimes you need someone else's perspective. That maybe you're shutting yourself off or blind or fear is stopping you, whatever the situation is, and just helps you see things differently. And then maybe giving some more clarity. They're not doing it for you. It's just like, when you go to a gym, if you have a coach, a personal trainer, they're not lifting the weights for you. You still have to do the workout. It's the same thing with the business coach. And both of you alluded to that. Like you have to do the work. It won't just come falling in your lap because you had a call, because you went through a consultation. And if it didn't change anything, well, it's because you didn't do anything. You have to participate, period.
Yes, 100%. And, can I be like brutally honest and absolutely blunt?
No. We don't do that here.
We don't do that here in this country.
No.
So
you better be brutally honest.
If I didn't have a coach, I don't know where I would have been right now. Because people think, like, when I talk to my prospects, here's the thing, like, entrepreneurship is a part of your career as well. Like, it's a different career path. But like when I talk to entrepreneurs and they say, like, give me a couple of months and I'm trying it on my own. Let me land 3 clients on my own, and then I'm gonna hire you. 3 months later, they're not there.
Yep.
Like, I'm not kidding you. 3 months later, they are not there. I was talking to another career coach in tech, and he was so passionate about it. We talk about everything, and then I said, like, well, like, it seems like you literally have a few things to tweak and fix and talk to the right people, and like, you're going to get rolling. And he said, oh, you know what, let me do my reps for 3 months, and then like we're going to start working together. But 3 months later, he said, nobody wants to buy my program for $20. Like, everybody says it's expensive. Like, yeah, because you're talking to the wrong people and you're marketing it wrong. Of course it is too expensive. So, and like, they're not there. And again, if I didn't, like, I don't know if it's going to make people uncomfortable. I invested $20,000 in my own success, and I'm still here. I'm still have my house. I still paying my like bills and rent and go out, and I keep generating clients because I bet on myself, because I want to be here today. I want to be here next year. I want to keep going, and I want to keep helping people. And if you think that you're going to figure out on your own, you won't.
No.
No, and
you
it goes
always
back
do.
to it's about who you surround. So you're going to
Yeah.
have people going, yeah, you can't do it, or yeah, you can do it, but I'm not really interested. I don't see, when you're passionate, when you have that coach. So I had a coach. Richard was fabulous. Unfortunately, he passed away. It's been 2 years now. But when I started my first business in 2008, it was named something else, and I was, oh, it's my name. I'm passionate about this name. You cannot talk me out of changing this name. It's my name. And he taught, coached entrepreneurs. And I remember a whole weekend he got a hotel room. We were in a conference room, and he was just digging in and giving me all this stuff. He said, "You got to change your name." I said, "No, we're not changing my name." He said, "Christy, nobody knows what the fuck it is by your name." And so he said, "But you've got to show your brand." And I'm like, "Well, I don't know what my brand is." And he said, "But you're authentic. Mm-hmm. Everybody knows Christy as being so authentic." He goes, "That's your brand." And I'm like, "Well, shit." And it wasn't somebody like, none of my family, none of my friends, they were just like, "Okay, great business name, whatever." Never once said, "We have no idea what it is." You do. And so that coach helped me open my eyes going, "Oh," and he's like, "And now you're outside the box, and now you can just see so much more." And that was opening for me.
That's an issue. That's an issue with a lot of entrepreneurs, I think, and CEOs. And I had a client recently that was this way, is they didn't want to listen to the feedback that we were giving. Like, nobody understands what you're doing. Your brand is so confused, but they understand it in such a personal, intimate manner because they've created it and they have this, relationship with it that's totally different than what an ideal client would be. And they won't move. And it's like, well, you keep putting different lipstick on this pig and it's still a pig. Like and they're still in the same place they were 3 years ago. And it's like, because you keep doing the same thing and you're not listening to outside people who are telling you this is what you need to do. So I think that's a perfect example of why people need to have a coach. Sometimes you need
and
to,
you have to be coachable.
Yes.
Well, and at first I wasn't, because I'm a very stubborn person. At least I used to be. It's just like, no, this is mine. I created this. And it's like, well, wait a minute. Hey, something, he's successful for a reason, and he's, doing this for me.
Yeah. And I think it's so important to being coachable. That's so key. You're right. And I think, even when we do things like our profiles, our LinkedIn profile, as simple as something like that sounds, it's very difficult to write your own because you don't see yourself the way that others see you. Reach out to someone else and ask for some coaching, and Christy, but it's true. And I've been in the marketing space, my entire career. And I've worked with agency clients that they hire other marketing agencies to do their branding because you can't see it the same way, and sometimes you just need another perspective, which is what I think the beauty is of a coach. And
it goes back to, like, if you look at a header on a LinkedIn and don't look at anything else. I mean, I've talked to people going, "What do you do?" It's like, you want that, you want the first thing, the name of your business, or your headline to explain, what do you do? So then people dig in. And I feel, Eugene, you're so, again, you're transparent about it.
So great.
And because of that, that's why you have the conversations you have, your podcasts, your lives, and and I appreciate everybody that always watches ours or afterwards. And I know sometimes it's like, where are they going with this? But understand, you're going to always, if you go onto a podcast or a LinkedIn Live or a YouTube, you're going to grab nuggets from somebody.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
But you have to be open.
Yes. 100%. And speaking of, can you give some date, times, and things of your podcast? Because he does have great shorts that he does on his profile. If you're not connected, do connect. But where can they catch your lives?
So I normally go live. So I do have audio rooms on Wednesdays at 3 p.m. Pacific time, and it's a networking space. When it comes to my lives, it's either like at 10 o'clock in the morning Pacific time or at 3 p.m. I'm kind of experimenting with like with different times because like sometimes people are busy at when I lived in Chicago, it was a lot easier. So I would go live at 7 o'clock in the morning. Everybody was on. Everybody was getting ready for work. And when I moved to Seattle, so like 8 o'clock, 7 o'clock my time, everybody is like getting ready for their first meeting. And at 10 o'clock, the people are catching their pre-lunch break. So, and at 3 p.m., it's more so like more people kind of off work or getting ready to get off work. So
And
either
we'll
10 or 3.
Yeah, and I noticed too because, with the change in the job market, because so many people now are either working fully remote or hybrid in some cases, but that changed dramatically because we would always used to say, "Hey, the target times are, specifically on the East Coast." We would do it during transit because people are traveling, so they're captive, whether they're taking public transportation or what have you, for at least an hour generally. So you would
Hmm.
do early morning and then the evening when they would be on their way home, and same for, people who are commuting, in their own car. But that's
Hmm.
all changed now, because I even see some audio rooms on the weekend on an occasion, and
Oh
I'm shocked
yeah.
how many people are in there. But it's because, like you're saying, they're not working now, and so they'll tune in. Because I do a lot of live streaming. I may not be watching it, but I listen to a lot more than I actually watch.
Hmm.
But
Yeah.
it's an interesting space.
It's like, yeah, LinkedIn has changed so much because I remember like a few years ago on the weekend, it would have been so quiet on LinkedIn. But right now, my LinkedIn on the weekend, I'm like, what is going on? Like, why everybody goes live? Why everybody starts their like audio rooms like on the Saturday at 9 o'clock in the morning? I'm not even up yet. So like that's definitely, and also I think when it comes to like your live stream, your show, consistency is the key. Like if you want to
Yeah,
like do like a networking event, like I always pick Wednesday at 3 because people get used to it. When it comes to live streams, people gonna catch your live stream majority of the time like on the replay, so like
Mhm.
just like attach it to the feature section,
Yeah.
so let
mm,
people know to let people find it. So
yeah,
and then like do like recap, like short recap video and say, hey,
yeah,
here's a link in on YouTube for the
Kelly
replay.
does that on Instagram all the
yeah,
time.
yeah.
Yeah, or Instagram. Yes, yes. Yeah.
And I'll post the clips on LinkedIn as well. But one of my
We're
things
at the we got a hard stop, right?
it
Yes,
Yes.
in
yes,
15 minutes.
Oh,
yeah.
okay. We're good. Okay.
Well, yeah. Well, I'll just do this little part, and we'll start to wrap. But because I think with the live streaming, one of the things with Christy and I is we threw a date on the calendar and started, and we're not prepared. And I'm grateful that we did that because me coming from financial services, marketing, I have to be through compliance, legal, all the things. So pretty much everything has to be perfect before it goes to market. Um, and if we would have waited till then, we probably still wouldn't have launched, because
Hmm.
we'd still be going through branding iteration. I mean, I know a couple of friends of mine right now, they've been trying to start a business for 18 months, and they still don't have their brand because they're just going back and forth, and it's like, "Y'all missed the holiday season." Like, sometimes you just need to start,
Hmm.
and you can always adjust it. Nothing is ever perfect, and we can never really. And I mean, I'm a whiteboard person when we'd go through like a customer journey and mapping it out so you can see it and all the things. You can go through it with a group of people and be like, "This is awesome. We crushed it." But then as soon as you go live with it or start testing it, you're like, "Oh God, we missed something like so in your face obvious," because
Hmm.
you have to try it out first, and then your audience is likely going to give you feedback that you didn't anticipate. you're always surprised by something. So I don't know. My feeling with
Well, we're lucky that we haven't had bad feedback on our show yet.
yeah, no.
I think
We really haven't.
I think people
Sure
trying to
someone has called
overcomplicate
for
business.
bad feedback.
Oh, absolutely. They get, yes, they overcomplicate it so much.
Oh yeah.
Because you overthink. You're like, I've got to, like, I'm about to start a podcast, and I'm looking at this up on my screen. It's called Riverside, of how to upload these podcasts over just doing Spotify. And I have no idea what I'm doing, but I'm just throwing myself into it because we already have it all live. I just have to throw it in there and get it going. I don't know how it's going to go, but we're just, it's the technical thing that I don't, for me, I've learned that I didn't do well in school. Actually, school didn't like me. I didn't like school. So I'm a school of hard knocks. And I also don't like to, read directions. I think I'm sort of like a guy that way.
Yeah.
Guys don't like to ask directions. I don't like reading directions. I just fiddle around and figure it out. And it's like putting together furniture. You always have that one piece that's missing.
Oh, IKEA. Total
So
random.
anything, how can we help you, Eugene, before we close off here?
Yes.
So how can you help me? As well, first of all, I'm open to connections, right? If you are in tech, if you are a consultant, if you are entrepreneur, coach, or you have a solid offer, like, okay, this is how I can help people. I don't know how much money I should charge for it, or can I charge enough to make it sustainable? Send me a connection request. Let's talk. If you are in tech, later for getting your ready for your next role, or maybe want to go to the level up, just listen, like, connect with me as well. I can help you with that, because like right now, I can do all of the things. So, and it's exciting, and because your next opportunity starts with your next connection. You never know, you might be literally one connection away from your perfect business, from your perfect life.
Absolutely. And you never know who Eugene knows that needs to know you.
That's right.
Because of his connections.
Yeah, totally agree. So where can everyone connect with you, Eugene?
So I am very, very active on LinkedIn. So LinkedIn is probably going to be the first platform where you're going to get the fastest response. I'm everywhere else too. Like, I'm on X, I am on Instagram. I would probably not hit me up on Facebook yet, because I'm still flirting with that platform. But LinkedIn, 100%.
Kelly hates Facebook.
Yeah, I'm not a Facebook.
Or I'm very active on Facebook. I'm on active everything except X.
Well, I got kicked off a couple of years ago, and ever since then, I'm just kind of like, and then there was no reason for me to get kicked off. And then so I was off for like a year and a half, and I didn't miss it. So I was like, you know what, Facebook, up yours. Like, but you need it. I need it for work. So that's really the only reason I have it. And I do like to have some family stuff, but I'm way more focused on LinkedIn is the platform. So that's just more my jam.
Yeah, like, so LinkedIn is like, also sometimes people call me or email me and they ask me like, so like, what is the fastest way get to you? Or like, well, send me a message on LinkedIn, because like, I will ignore my personal text messages sometimes and emails, but like, if I see something from LinkedIn means business, so I will always check it out.
Nice. Great. All right. Well, as we do wrap, because we know Eugene has a hard stop here today for another call following here. Christy, do you have any final thoughts, my dear?
Well, we have next week. Wow, we got the Owen.
I know.
We got the Owen clan. It's going to be an amazing. I mean, this was amazing. Every
show is.
Everyone is amazing, but this one's a really. Ben and Jessica, they're going to be worth watching, because they got a story where you're going to sit there and go,
blow your mind.
Holy crap.
Oh yeah.
And what they're doing.
Yeah.
And it teaches us, and sort of, Eugene, we've learned this about paying it forward.
Yeah.
With the experiences we've had to help other people. and they help people that are very less
They're
fortunate than
next
us.
level pay it forward. Like
No, they're earth
they
angels,
are.
and
They are.
yeah.
They've lived in the
So
bowels of absolute hell and do so much incredible work for their community and beyond. And yeah, they were definitely ones when Ben commented publicly, and he was like, "I love what you guys are doing. I'd love to be on this show." I called Chrissy, and I'm like, "Oh my God, Ben Owen said he wants to be on," and she's like,
I'm like, oh, I got his phone number. We're
"Yeah, I
texting because
know."
I get everybody's number. I don't sit around and wait. I'm just like, let's talk.
Hmm.
That's the entrepreneur in me. That's the B2B
Yep.
business person. So with that, Kelly.
Yes. So, Eugene, do you have any final thoughts, my dear? I don't want to shut you out right away.
So my final thoughts. I think my final thoughts is kind of how I started this year, and share on my live stream. Um, the faster you make a decision, the more successful you are in life.
Ooh, I love that.
Don't let fear stop you from making a decision. Every decision is a new door. Every decision is a new opportunity. Don't be afraid of making a wrong decision. You're going to get lessons, you're going to get opportunities, you're going to pivot sometimes. But if you let your fear stop from making a decision, or if you make a decision out of fear, you won't progress. So make a decision, bet on yourself, and be committed.
Love it.
I love that.
Me too.
Ooh, I got goosebumps.
Me too.
Love
Bet
that.
on yourself. That's beautiful. And yeah, just to expound on that, no decision is a decision, people. So thank you again so much, Eugene. It's just such a pleasure to have you, and so grateful for your time yet again. And what a way to start the year off, everyone. Please do connect with Eugene. And we look forward to seeing everyone next Tuesday at 1:11 p.m. with Ben and Jess Owen from We Fight Monsters. You definitely don't want to miss it. Until then, just remember we are all on this journey together, and together we do make it